Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on one of the most powerful things you can do for your financial future, opening that very first investment account. I know it can seem like a huge, complicated thing, but trust me, we're going to break it all down into a super simple, step-by-step roadmap. If you've ever felt totally overwhelmed by all the jargon, the endless options, or just the whole idea of putting your hard-earned money into the market, you are not alone. And you're in exactly the right place. Our goal here is pretty simple. We're going to clear the fog, and by the end of this, you'll feel confident enough to take that first big step. So, first things first, before you can even think about what to invest in, you need a place to put those investments. Think of an investment account like a bucket, and the kind of bucket you choose really depends on what you're trying to do with your money. Okay, so one of the most common options is the traditional IRA. The whole deal with this one is pay the taxes later. It's a lot like a 401k you might have through your job. You might get a nice tax deduction on the money you put in now, and then you don't have to worry about paying taxes on all that growth until you're retired and start taking the money out. Then you've got the Roth IRA, which totally flips that on its head. With a Roth, you pay the taxes now. You put in money that you've already paid taxes on. But, and this is the amazing part, all of that growth, we're talking potentially decades of growth, is completely 100% tax-free when you take it out in retirement. It's a pretty sweet deal. And finally, there's your standard taxable brokerage account. You know what its superpower is? Total flexibility. There are no limits on how much you can put in, and you can get your money whenever you need it. This makes it perfect for goals that happen before retirement, like saving for a down payment on a house. The only catch is when you sell an investment that's made money, you have to pay taxes on that profit. So, which one's for you? Let's look at it side by side. If you're young and you figure you'll be making more money later in your career, the Roth IRA can be an absolute game changer. Why? Because you pay taxes now while you're in a lower tax bracket. But if you're in your peak earning years, that traditional IRA might be better, since it can lower your tax bill right now. And for everything else, any goal where you need that flexibility, the taxable account is the way to go. Okay, so you've picked your account type. Awesome. The next step is deciding which company is going to hold that account for you. This is your brokerage. They're basically your partner in this whole thing. We're talking about big names you've probably heard of like Fidelity, Charles Schwab, or Vanguard. But hey, don't just close your eyes and point at a name. It's worth doing a little bit of homework. You'll want to call them or look online and ask some key questions. How is my money protected? What can I actually invest in? And this one is huge. What are all the fees? You want those fees to be as low as possible because every single dollar you pay in fees is a dollar that's not growing for you. They need to be totally upfront about costs. All right, deep breath. Now for the big moment, actually opening the account. You've done the research, you've made your choice, and now it's time to either go online or pick up the phone. I know, this can feel like the most intimidating part, but it really doesn't have to be. And you've got to remember this. Seriously, the folks who work in customer service at these companies, they are there to help people just like you. They get calls from beginners all day, every day. There is no such thing as a stupid question. It's their job to walk you right through it, step by step. Woohoo! Your account is officially open. But, an empty account isn't going to do much good. Now we have to actually fill it with some investments. And the number one most important rule here is something called diversification. Basically, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. A really fantastic and super easy way to start is with a simple 3-fund portfolio. You literally just put a third of your money in a fund that tracks all the US stocks, a third in a fund for international stocks, and the last third in a bond fund. That's it. It's balanced, it's diversified, and it's incredibly easy to manage. Now, that 3-fund portfolio is a perfect place to start. For many people, it's all they'll ever need. But if you're someone who likes a little more control, you can get a bit more detailed. Let's take a quick look at how you could break things down even more. So, for example, you could take that big stock part of your portfolio and slice it up. Instead of just one big US stock fund, maybe you split it between funds that focus on big, stable value companies and others that focus on fast-growing growth companies, all while keeping that international piece in there. It's just another way to spread your money around even more. So a question that comes up all the time is, how do I split my money between stocks and bonds? Stocks are where you get your growth, but they're also riskier. Bonds are generally safer and more stable. So how much should you really have in that safer bucket? Well, here's a really simple rule of thumb to get you started. Just take the number of decades you've been alive, subtract 1 from that number, and then multiply it by 10%. The whole idea is that as you get older, you slowly and steadily add more of those safer investments, like bonds. Let's make that real for a second. Let's say you're 32 years old. Okay, you've lived through 3 full decades, right? So 3 minus 1 is 2. 2 times 10% gives you 20%. So for a 32-year-old, a good starting point would be to have about 20% of their portfolio in bonds and the other 80% in stocks. Simple as that. But wait, once you set everything up, you're not quite done. Think of it like a car. It needs a little maintenance. The market is moving around all the time, which means that perfectly balanced portfolio you just built, it's not going to stay that way for long. That's why you need to do a little annual checkup. So let's go back to our 32-year-old. They start out with their target right on the money. 80% in stocks, 20% in bonds. Perfect. Everything is exactly according to plan. But then a whole year goes by, and let's say it was an amazing year for the stock market. Your stock funds grew like crazy, way faster than your bond funds did. So now, because those stocks did so well, your portfolio has kind of drifted. Without you lifting a finger, you're suddenly at 87% stocks. That means your portfolio is now carrying more risk than you originally wanted it to. The way you fix this is called rebalancing. It sounds complicated, but it's not. At least once a year, you just sell a little bit of whatever did really well, in this case your stocks, and you use that cash to buy more of what didn't do as well, your bonds. This snaps you right back to your 80-20 target. It's a built-in way to sell high and buy low. So we've covered a ton of ground, right? We've talked about choosing the account, picking a brokerage, and deciding on your investments. The very last practical step is just funding it. Your brokerage can help you set up an easy electronic transfer from your bank so you can move money over whenever you're ready. And really, that's the whole roadmap from start to finish. So the only question left for you is this: what's just one small step you can take today to get the ball rolling? Maybe it's just Googling one brokerage firm. Maybe it's just deciding, yep, a Roth IRA is for me. The whole journey doesn't start with some giant leap. It just starts with that one simple first step.